be how did you get into Dota?
Okay, yeah. So I played a bit. I was a huge Frozen Throne Warcraft 3 guy. And
Classic.
but I wasn't doing a lot of the mods, but my brothers were. They were like not playing like I was trying to be like actually not competitive, but sort of competitive, locally competitive.
You want to win.
Um yeah, I wanted to win. And so I wasn't really fucking around with the mods. I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to just, play Warcraft 3." And they were playing, Defense of the Ancients back then. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of fun." So I dabbled but never really like went hardcore with their entire friend group. And then
Mm.
it wasn't until Valve released the beta with, took over the rights and did Dota 2 that I jumped in immediately, right when I got access. I was able to get in. I think my first game was maybe January 2012, I think. So maybe not the
Damn.
earliest, but pretty early. And I played quite a bit early on. I was actually working in this company, and our entire team was huge nerds. I was a data engineer, so
Oh
obviously I
yeah,
was nerd.
definitely huge
Yeah.
nerds.
So yeah, and we would literally stay. We had a really cool startup office vibe. This is in Austin, so like we had beer on tap, we had snacks, all that cool stuff that was happening at that time, right? And so we would stay and all play Dota like on our work laptops. We had it all installed, and we would literally play, a team of five
Oh
and
my
and
god.
drink almost like every other day. It was pretty bad, but for like an
That
entire
sounds like
year.
heaven.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of got into it obviously that way. My brother, he was like, "Oh, you got to watch this team, EG, North America. They've got really great players." And so watched it from there and really got hooked on like less playing it, more just watching it.
Mm.
So since then I watched it, I watch it pretty religiously. But then started getting really back into playing again. Probably since the 7 patch, and they redid all the graphics and they changed the map. I was like, you know what? Now's the time to kind of get back into it because it felt like a Dota 3.
That's awesome. That's really interesting, actually. On the topic of like your early days with Dota, I'm actually curious. Do you remember the first hero you played, either in Warcraft 3 or Dota 2, or both, if
Oh,
preferably?
I always played support.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I think I was Lich. Or when did they
Nice.
introduce Lich? Was one of their first batch of characters, wasn't it? Or Crystal Maiden. It
Both
might have been
icy
Crystal
people
Maiden.
could be
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
distinguish.
I wanted to slow. I play really aggressive with my brother. We pretty much lane 5 and 1 all the time. So
Uh-huh.
we play really aggro. We like mobility control, so stuff like that. So I definitely have like my go-to spam hero now is ET because of the sleep. Like I just try to set
Oh
up.
my God.
Yeah.
Would you say he's your
So
favorite, or is he just like your MMR
no,
fun hero?
I mean, he is my favorite. I don't have fun playing anyone but ET. If they ban ET, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna have a terrible, terrible game. Sometimes I do well, but like I like ET, Tide, Lich, Crystal Maiden, anyone that has control. Used to be Centaur back in the day when he was a really good support. But like all of it is mobility control. I kind of like that stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we've talked a lot about Dota. I'm a little bit interested to know, outside of gaming, what do you like to do?
I do travel a lot,
Mm.
so pretty much used to spend before the pandemic like 6 months out of the year internationally. Because as an engineer, you can kind of work remote, and my wife had this same luxury to being able to work remote. So we travel a lot. I make games, so I'm really big. I actually started in engineering as trying to make video games. That was like my passion
Mhm.
in college. But realized that the pay is pretty bad and the hours are even worse. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, maybe I'll just go work for start, build products, not games. And well, hours are so bad, but you get paid a bit better. And then just do hackathons on the side, which led me to just being too tired to code at night. Like I'd get home from coding or whatever and want to go work on a game, but I was just like too tired to do it. I don't want to
Mhm.
code 24/7. So I was like, me and my brother started making, we got really drunk one day, just started making board games. We are just like, fuck it, let's just we had grown up playing a bunch of board games together, so we were like, oh, let's just take a crack at it. Yeah, and that's sort of been doing that as a pretty big passion or inside project for like 10 years now. So
That's awesome. That now I have to ask, basically, what would you say your favorite board game is and why?
ooh, funny enough, I'll just bring it. I'll plug it. I just got it, but
Uh-huh.
Scythe actually, when Scythe came out, I think in 2000. 2013. Yeah, 2013 or 14 from Stonemeyer. I absolutely fell in love with it. I felt like it was a amazing asymmetrical war game with tactical decision making. It just felt like a video game. Like it felt
Sounds
very
like my kind of
complex
thing.
yet simple. And then there's another game called Roots, which did the same thing. It's about basically woodland creatures battling over territory in a forest. It's just cute and clever, but wartime. But anyways, I literally just got this week. So this is the
Oh, I think I've seen
expansion.
that.
Oh yeah, this is the expansion, big big box game from Scythe. I'm so super. I've already scheduled like 3 um playthroughs with friends
That's awesome.
this weekend, so I'm pretty pumped. But yeah, so I would say Scythe and then Roots are my 2 outside my own games. I know I have my own games that I do. Those are my 2 other favorites.
That's really cool. Yeah, board games are like people, they're not too common these days, too popular, but like when you have a group of people to play them
Yeah.
with, like there's very few experiences that are as awesome as that. So lucky you, lucky you.
Yeah, I mean, you get to drink, you get to eat, you get to just socialize, right? Where video games is you kind of have to play your role in your game. I mean, there's some couch co-ops that are fun, but there's no more like there's no like 6-player coach. I mean, you have Super Smash. Super Smash is the only other game that I like get with friends and we do, straight up 4-on-4, 8 players, like crazy, Battlefield, right? Stuff.
For me, that's like fighting games, like Tekken
Yeah.
and like Street Fighter. Like you can't do like 6-on-6, but being able to talk shit with your friend while you're beating him up is just it's awesome.
It's the best. It's the best. Yeah.
Absolutely. So next up here, could you tell us a little bit more about your journey into forming an NADCL team and what made you really want to get into the esports business?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it started with Nouns Esports. So I met Sasquatch when I joined Nouns. I made a comment that we were just talking about NARS funding athletes, extreme athletes, and I was like, we should just pay. I made the joke. Yeah, BBD might get mad, but I made a joke that I was like, oh, let's just spend like a couple hundred K on Sumel and like build a team around him. And Sasquatch was like, "Wait, you're into Dota? You watch esports?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Let's. And he's like, "Let's talk." And so we worked together, fundamentally building the Nouns esports proposal and getting it passed. And obviously, that sort of threw me into esports. I was like, I have no idea. I've never run or helped contribute to any esports organization, and it's been a year and a half now, and it's been just absolutely fun, and I've really loved it. Obviously, it's hard, but it's kind of fun coming from the angle that we are. And then I think with NADCL and what PBD and Peter are putting together is tapping into my individual want to like kind of build and grow a team and see what happens. And supported by my brother and some of his friends that are big into Dota. So all of us just coming together to sort of control a team rather than like from Nouns Esports, it's like the Nouns DAO, sort of with contributors to the esports section. But within ADCL, it's sort of like more personal, right? More private, I guess.
That's awesome. That's really good. That's really good. And what do you think are some of the unique aspects of your team, and how do they reflect like your personal values, I'd say?
Well, our personal values is we're all pretty trash, and that's why we chose
It's a
the
good sign.
sport. The design was originally from the meme from Toy Story, which is like he has this line that's like I'm trash, and he's like happy and mean at the same time. I just thought that
Hmm.
character from the movie was so clever, and I was like, oh man, that would be such a good. So before I joined the Nouns team on Dota, that was our actual. We were the Sporkface Killaz as a guild on Dota 2 for a couple years. We had our own banner that looks just like this. And so it was really cool to like bring that back. But the whole idea is like we play a lot, but man, we're just not good versus how much time and hours we put into the game, which is pretty sad. We're absolutely aggressive. So, and that's when we win. We win when we somehow our aggression leads to snowballing, and that's the only time we pretty much win.
Yeah, I like the fork aspect really encapsulates the aggressiveness,
Well, if you want to know the real reason we chose Sporkface, you can edit this out if it's too bad. But like, there's a lot of trash talking that happens. Like people say some pretty fucking racist and derogatory names and all that
Oh
kind of stuff.
yeah.
So we were thinking, what's a name that we could tell someone like and be mad about it, but they would take offense, but there's no offense given because the name has no meaning. And so we came up with Sporkface. We're like, oh, you're such a Sporkface. Why are you doing so bad, Sporkface? And people would be like so confused. They're like, what we're talking about? But they would get upset.
It's pretty clever. You're a lot more creative than me. I go with dog. I go with calling people dogs. Maybe I shouldn't, but
That works.
it's
I mean, that
pretty
works.
funny. I like that, the Sporkface Killers. Like you embrace the trashiness of your
Yes,
gameplay,
in many
and
ways. I'm like, yeah.
yeah, you wear it proudly. I like that. You kind of already gave us a little bit of it, but maybe you could give us like a fun behind the scenes or fun facts about the team or forming it that you think would be interesting to share.
So yeah, so me and my brother, he's a little bit younger, and then it's pretty much his friends. None of my friends picked up Dota for some reason. It was just something that they went fighting games or first person shooters. A lot of my brother Blake's friends went to Dota.
Mhm.
One of them is a teacher in DC, and then one of his other friends is tried really hard to be an esports pro. So he got yeah, I think he got maybe top 100 in the US once in terms of MMR. But never really made the cut, right? Never got on a, tier 2 or tier 3 team.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's pretty fun. He's the guy that we play with that we win. If we play with him, we actually win all of our games, but yeah, so that's kind of our core team. Um but yeah, behind the scenes, I mean, we've just been bad Dota players for 10 plus years. That's pretty much it.
Once you're bad, you always stay bad. I think
Yeah.
some
Oh my god.
people like they start the game, and if they're immediately good from there, then they're set. That's your Sumails, that's your
Yeah, yeah,
PPPs.
yeah, yeah.
But if you're
Legend.
like us, you start bad,
When
you're
people
bad
started
forever.
describing MMR hell, I was like, I think I created that. I think people got stuck with me and they can never improve their MMR. And I was like, I'm sorry.
That's really funny. The way I avoid MMR hell is by not playing ranked at all. I've
Oh
been
yeah, yeah.
playing
I've given
Dota.
up on ranks. When they
I
added Turbo, I was completely out of ranked. I haven't played a ranked game since Turbo basically got established.
I've never calibrated ranked in my life. I've been playing Dota for
Oh,
like
that's impressive.
7 or 8 years, and I've
Yeah,
never calibrated. I just
that's
I get like so invested and angry about my games already.
yeah,
Having MMR attached to it would just make it
dude.
10 times worse.
When my wife first started dating me, when I was actually playing, the back in 2012,
Mhm.
and we were playing ranked pretty seriously. And I was okay at that. I was decent at that time. I also got older, so I just got slower. But I would get so angry, and she was so confused why I was angry. I was like, "Dude,
You
just
wouldn't get
never
it.
made the connection." And she was like, "Is this going to be a problem, like for our relationship?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. It's just with the internet competitiveness. I'm okay afterward. I'm pretty nice anywhere else."
Yeah, some people don't get that. Like,
Yeah,
I can scream at a complete stranger about how much I wish they weren't born. But
yeah.
like if I'm down the street, like I'm a cool
Oh,
guy.
yeah, we're neighbors. Yeah, we're great.
That actually brings up an interesting question to me now. Do you have like a favorite Dota pub memory? Like anything that's
Oh
just
man,
iconic, legendary in your head?
this was a turbo game still, because my memory is phasey. But we
Mhm.
played a game that went literally 70 minutes in Dota, and for turbo, and it
Oh,
was,
Turbo. Damn.
dude, it was. We had, oh man, they basically what saved us was we had a super late game. I'm trying to remember who all was there. It was definitely a bristleback that we had, but we in an elder time. I was elder time. We had a pretty and a sniper. We had a really good defense game. Like
Mhm.
they literally, we had taken like almost none of their tower. Like I'm talking about like full on. They had everything up. Maybe we took down 2 tier 1s, maybe 3. They literally cleared every racks but one, like of the melee racks, like bottom melee racks, and we were defending. I mean, it was insane. I mean, I've never been more active in a defensive role. It was crazy. They were getting Roshan after Roshan. Like it just kept going, but they couldn't get us. Like they would wipe and we would push lanes out.
Mhm.
And then finally they took down the racks and they thought it was GG. And it was kind of like, what we saw in the Riyadh tournament is like, dude, the comebacks were insane, this past weekend. And week, it was kind of like that where we just defended our throne, wiped them, and then just completely it was just enough time where I guess they had spent all their money or something. But no one had buyback. Maybe one person had buyback, and we just completely ran down the towers and was able to just completely wipe.
That's awesome. I
It
think
was
like
fun.
one of the best aspects of Dota is how exciting the comebacks can be.
Oh yeah.
And it's very funny that you mentioned that game because literally last night I had like a 78-minute long game.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but I was definitely not as involved as you were in yours because at like starting at minute like 50, I just started playing a different game. I started playing Paladins on my computer, and my friend literally solo carried that game
Oh
playing Shadow
no, yeah.
and
That's
they won.
amazing.
Nature's Prophet in my game, I lose
Well,
interest immediately. I don't want to play anymore. So that's
yeah.
my defense.
That's fair. Funny enough, Nature's Prophet. So we were in this tactic. I don't think it's as viable anymore because of the bigger map, but maybe it is. We
Mhm.
used to 5-man mid, literally on turbo. Like when first turbo, we were like, get all the defensive or get all the creep um heroes, right? And just
Yeah,
completely, you could tear down mid within 30 seconds of the game starting, and
true.
then just keep pushing tier two. Like there was nothing stopping you. And so I think we had a game where we finished in less than 10 minutes, like early on in turbo because it was all broken. Like MP, like Nature's Prophet was so broken. And like, oh, hilarious. So that was another good memory. Is like, we would just literally march down all mid lane.
The things you can accomplish in like a coordinated 5 stack
Yeah.
in Dota are remarkable.
Yeah.
That's well, you gave us a little bit of a glimpse into your plans strategy wise for the
All
league.
5-man mid. Yeah,
Yeah, all
absolutely.
five
No one
man
cares
mid.
about the side lanes.
Who cares? They're on the side for a reason. The middle
Yeah.
lane is the most important. Come on. But how would you describe your approach to leadership and team management then? Any
Ooh.
philosophies or like main ideas that guide you?
Don't even try. I don't even try. I'm a bad leader. I'm a bad manager. Peter probably knows that from just now esports. I'm just there. I just show up to have fun. I hope that we get stuff done, but we're gonna be pretty laid back. There's not gonna be a lot of serious team driven commands. It's more gonna be like, oh, does this sound fun? Let's do it. Um, I think if anything, Blake will take more of a leadership if he gets really involved. I consider him a coach. Like he could probably have gone like Dota, Dota like coach for some tier two teams
Mm.
easily. He has just a way better knowledge of the game. So even I ask him when updates happen, I'm like, okay, Blake, like what should I know about what happened to ET? Maybe I'll check the patch notes, but I don't really know. But like, who are these players I'm playing, and why do they have these other abilities? What should I be worried about? And he like literally gives me the dump of the data, and then he pretty much does all the call shotting. He's like, go here, go there, and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Is Blake that friend you were saying was like going pro for Dota, or is
Oh
that?
no, that's my brother. No, Tilash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's good from a knowledge, but execution, you either have it or you don't, right? That fast twitch, move quickly. I mean, he's good. He's our carry and he does well, but I don't not at a pro level. Like his gold farming efficiency is down, but like he has really good team strategy. Like in terms of movements around the map, where he expects the other team to be without tons of vision, all that kind of stuff, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, he's like a human computer.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, besides your leadership skills, which by the way, the leadership skills you described, while you're saying you lack them, I think that could make somebody a pretty good leader, you know? But could you give us like a sneak peek into what your vision for the team looks like in the future?
I would like to go and find some aggressive players, people who either you win early, you lose early, unless you can hold out an amazing defense. But I just like aggressive games. Um, you know, Even if you lost your lane, but you tried hard, like you tried to put yourself in position to win.
Mhm.
I think is better as a fan of someone watching. It's way better to see more team fights, right? It's better to see people die. You want to see high kill count. So I would say a goal of mine would be if we can match per every minute someone's dying, either us or them. I'm okay with that. I think that's a fun match, and I rather have that rather than passive farming games. It's just the type of games I like to watch and the type of games I like to play. So I would say if we had any guiding light, it will definitely be fighting and aggressiveness over anything else.
I'm absolutely looking forward to casting those games. Where I've cast games where people are dying like literally every
Yes,
minute, if not
that's the
multiple
best.
people. It makes your throat sore, and you don't really get to talk strategy. But
Yeah,
you know
fair enough.
what? Games go faster that way, and they're
That's
fun. I
true.
like
That
those.
is true.
Yeah. Well, in terms of the team feature as well, any specific supporter benefits, packs, things like that you're looking into as well? Any ideas?
Honestly, not yet. I'd like to
Mhm.
see how this first season just unfolds. Like, I think just go with it pretty organically, not try to like force anything in terms of, raising funds or getting more people involved. Like if our core group of, shared owners are having fun, I think that's the first priority is
Mhm.
just use this as a way to have fun and do things we normally, couldn't ever do. And then I think once you build sort of a landscape and understanding of how things going to operate, and then start maybe doing some more things in that direction. So I'm not really too worried about those things.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think NADCL presents an opportunity to have fun with Dota that
Yeah,
is unrivaled. Of course, it's competitive. There's all kinds of opportunities to start your Dota career, build connections, all that stuff. But on top of it, I think the way people can have fun in the league is unrivaled. And I really respect your commitment to bringing that to light.
yeah, absolutely.
With that being said, though, I think that's about all the questions I have for you today. But is there anything else you would like to share with the fans?
I mean, yeah, come support the Sporkface Killaz. We're gonna be fast. We're gonna be trash, and potentially we'll win some games.
Awesome. Actually, I just thought about one more thing.
Oh,
Tell us
okay.
a little bit about your board games. I remember when I
Oh,
came in, you were
sure.
talking
Man, I
about
wish
those.
I
Yeah.
had a copy here nearby. I don't. But yeah. So I mean, we just launched on moderngames.com. You can buy Raid, which is a 2 to 4 player sort of fast-paced card game. It's kind of like a
Mhm.
battle game, right? I would say more take the example of like war, right? Really, war is very simple,
Ah, yeah.
but make that a little bit more complex. But you're not thinking in terms of like Magic the Gathering complexity in terms of
I
card games,
see.
right?
That's a
So
good
it's
mix.
yeah, it's like to me, it's Settlers of Catan. It's kind of we consider that what's called an entry board game into more modern games, where it's easy but still more complex than some. Raid is like that for card collecting games. Um, and the way you win is interesting because you actually send your Norse, and it's about Norse mythology, which is really cool. You build longboats, you attack and raid
Oh,
each
cool.
other's villages, and you score points by moving your warriors off your boat into the villages, which you don't get to use them anymore, but that's your scored points, which is kind of nice. So it's like you have to sacrifice your own powerful warriors to score points. You have to know when to do that, which is kind of cool.
I think that is awesome. Yeah, I like the strategic decisions you have to make in that regard. Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Brennan, thank you very much for
Yeah,
talking with me today.
it's been
I
a
really
pleasure.
look forward to seeing what you do in NADCL and the messes that you make. We'll be there to clean it up, though. So
Absolutely.
it was a pleasure.